Hare Krishna. Hello friends, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. Today I am going to talk about mind and basically I am going to talk about psychodynamic theory, neuropsychological theory and our brain and what Lord Krishna stated in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita about how to control our emotion and how to control our brain. So we have to understand means the function of the brain as well as the means of the main function of the brain is to facilitate or faculty of the thought about our imagination, about our will, and whatever we want to do. It's all about our perception, it's about our will, means whatever we want to do. So Lord Krishna stated in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita about how to perform our prescribed duty, our behavior. Means psychodynamic theory is all about dynamic. Means means from the behavior of the people we can understand the thought process of the person. Means on the basis of the trait, on the basis of the trait like emotion, on the basis of the conscious and unconscious, patience and impatience, we are having this different degree of the traits in our body with our personality. So we have to understand what Lord Krishna said in Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter number 3, Karma Yoga, what kind of karma we have to perform. Lord Krishna stated to Arjuna, and Arjuna asked on behalf of all of us. Arjuna asked questions. Means what are that force which impelled me in these sinful activities? However, I don't want to involve in this particular sinful activities. Then what is that force? Then Arjuna here asks, Athakena prayukto papa charita puruso, in verse number 37, chapter number 3. Here Arjuna asks, Athakena prayukto papa charitra purusa mahapapa vidhyana varinam. Means what are these forces which impelled me in this particular sinful activities? Even though I don't want to involve in this particular activities, Athakena prayukto means I don't have any kind of desire. I don't have any kind of desire. However, what kind of these forces which impelled me in this particular warfare, in this particular activities, in this particular sinful activities? This is all about our desire, or this is all about our expectation, material expectation. This all are impelling to all of us in involving this particular sinful activities. Means Arjuna here asks to Lord Krishna, Athakena prayukto papa charita puruso anichanapi, means however I don't have any kind of desire. Vasani bala diva niyojita, means what kind of this force which impelled me to involve these particular activities? Here Arjuna asks, and Sri Bhagwan Uvacha in verse number 37, Kama isa krodha isa rajoguna samruddha. Kama isa krodha isa rajoguna samruddha mahasano mahapapyo vigna varinam, means mahasayo mahapapyo vigna varinam. Means this is all about Lord Krishna here stated, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only. Lust means not only sexual desire. It is also desire which one is outside from your goal, from your material goal as well as a spiritual goal. So we have to understand these things. Lust is not only sexual desire, but also any desire which one is outside from your goal, from your objective. So Arjuna, which is born of the contact of the material mode of nature, means our psychology, our human behavior, which is all about, which is the result from our three mode of the material nature, which is Rajas, Tamas and Sattva gunas. Means more or less these all are three gunas constituted to each other, then our behavior, human behavior will be constituted. So we have to understand how to control our mind. If we really want to understand how to control our mind, how to control our emotion, then we have to understand what are these forces which impelled me in this particular activities. Lord Krishna here stated, in order to control your mind, in order to control your psychology, in order to control your behavior and emotion, you have to understand what are these forces. Means what is the cause for the particular sinful activities. These are Rajas, Tamas and Sattva gunas, which are more or less constituted to each other, associated with each other, and which make our behavior, which make our personality and psychology. So Lord Krishna here stated, this is lust only, our expectation and our desire only and only born from our three mode of material nature, and later transfer in the breath, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. Our desire, our material desire, our expectation, this is only main cause for our sinful activities, for our material bondage. Means from the Sankhya Yoga we can come to know about the relation of our, means we are not having any kind of relation with our body, we are directly relation with the Supreme Personality Godhead Lord Krishna. The soul and our body relation, soul and super soul relation, kshetra means our body, kshetragya means the energy or the soul which one is dwelling in our body. So we have to understand that thing, our expectation and desire. I am repeating it again and again because this is most important, because our expectation and desire which definitely involve all of us in the sinful activities. Lord Krishna further said in verse number 38, here said tumrena priyate brihadvyadaso malena chah yato balvanto vrute garbhasto tade avratam. Means the particular our knowledge, our true knowledge which will be covered by one thing, as a fire is covered by smoke. Means the particular person who is smoking, then we can understand, means there is a bonfire and the fire is covered by smoke and the mirror is covered by dust, or means all the mirror day by day covered by dust, and or the embryo is covered by worm, and the living entity similarly covered by different degree of this lust, different degree of this expectation. Our expectation will definitely cover our real knowledge. Then we are not able to get self-realization, we are not able to understand who we are and what kind of our relation with Supreme Personality Godhead Lord Krishna. So we have to understand these things, and because of this different degree of lust or expectation or desire, we are involving in this material fool or material bondage. So in order to get free from the material bondage, we have to do niskam karma. There are two kind of karma, sakam karma and niskam karma. We have to perform niskam karma. Many people are telling to all of us we have to perform only karma. But what kind of karma we have to perform? We have to perform niskam karma without any expectation, without any kind of desire. We have to be neutral. Whatever comes to us, we have to accept as to be a neutral, and we don't have to keep any kind of expectation. We don't have to spoil our present in order to think and make a plan about our future, because we can only welcome our future. We can't create our future. This is stated by Lord Krishna. This is not stated by me. Lord Krishna further said, Avratam gnana meteno, gnanino nitya varina. Avratam gnana meteno, gnanino nitya varina. Kama rupena konteya duspurne anlena cha. Means avran. Means it will be covered. Thus the wise entity, pure consciousness, we all are wise entity, living entity, and our consciousness will be covered with a different degree of the lust. Means what will lust do with all of us? Lust will do to cover our real consciousness, our consciousness of Lord Krishna, our self-realization. Lust will definitely cover, and is eternal enemy. Our lust, our expectation, our desire, which is our real enemy. And which will never be satisfied. Our lust, our expectation will never be satisfied and burn like a fire. This is stated by Lord Krishna. Before more than 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna stated about expectation, about our emotion, how to control your emotion. So you have to control your desire. You have to regulate. You have to control your desire. You have to regulate your expectation. Then Lord Krishna further said in verse number 40, chapter number 3, Karma Yoga, Lord Krishna here said, Indriyani mano buddhira adhishta nam uchyate eter vimohate esa jnana avratam dehina. Means Indriyani, what are the sitting place of the lust? Where the lust is living, our expectation is living. Where the lust is lust or desire, both are situated in our body, in our mind. Lord Krishna here said the senses, the mind and the intelligence, three main sitting place of our lust. Our senses, our mind and intelligence. In order to control our mind, we have to control our senses. In order to control our senses, we have to regulate our senses by our regulatory organs, which are our eyes, our nose, our lip, means our mouth, our ear, our skin. These are 5 sensory organs we have to control. Means आँख है तो देखेंगी, मुंह है तो बोलेगा, कान है तो सुनेगा. But what we have to listen, what we have to see, what we have to speak, and what we have to touch, we have to control, we have to regulate. And by this we can easily control our mind, we can easily control our senses. Lord Krishna here said the senses, mind and intelligence are sitting place of this lust, and through them lust cover the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilder him. हमें भटका देती है, हमारी expectation, our expectation will definitely bewilder to all of us. So Lord Krishna here stated, your real enemy is lust, expectation, where your real enemy is living. Your real enemy is living in your senses, in your mind, and in your intelligence. Then how to control? Then how to fight against your real enemy? The Lord Krishna here said in verse number 41. Lord Krishna here said immediately, Tasmad Indriyani Adu Niyamyasya Bharatvarsha Papa Prajahi Ena Jnana Vijnana Nasanam. Tasmad means immediately you have to do one thing. Immediately, O Arjuna, based of Bharata, in the very beginning, what you have to do in order to curb the great symbol of the enemy, that is lust, you have to regulate your senses by your sensory organs. You have to regulate your senses by your sensory organs, and you have to slay this destroyer of the knowledge as well as self-realization by our expectation, by our desire, by our material expectation, material speculation. We are not able to understand what kind of relation all of us with Lord Krishna, and what ought to do and what ought not to do. We are not able to understand. If you got 50% today, I got 50%, then I will have a desire to complete, to get 70%. If I get 70%, then I will have a desire to get 80%. If I will get 80%, then I will be very happy. And happiness and sadness and auspicious and inauspicious, these all are about our mental speculation or mental perception. These all are not real. These all will definitely means today we are getting happiness, then same thing we got, same thing if we get, then we will get happiness, and same thing another person get, then that person will not be happy. If I get a 70%, I will be very happy. If same person, my colleague, will get a 70%, he will never be happy, because he will have a much more expectation. So if something will happen as per our expectation or desire, then we will be very happy, and something will not be happen as per our desire and expectation, then we will be get a miseries, or we will have a griefs. So we have to understand this thing. This is all about mental speculation or mental perception. In order to great symbol of this lust or desire, how to control your desire, how to control your expectation, you have to regulate your sensory organs. What you have to see, what you have to listen, what you have to speak, what you have to sniff, what you have to touch, you have to understand, you have to regulate. You can only regulate your sensory organs, means senses by your sensory organs. You can't control on your senses. You can only regulate, because we all are having a fan, electric fan in our house, in our home, and we will have a regulator. So we can only regulate speed up, speed down, speed up, speed down. So we can only regulate. By regulating of our sensory organs or our senses, we can easily control our mental perception, our desire, our expectation. Lord Krishna further said in chapter number 3, verse number 42, Indriyani parama buddhiha parama manaha manastatuya buddhiya parantastu sa. Here Lord Krishna said, the working senses are superior to dull matter. Our working senses are superior to dull matter. Our conscious mind, Lord Krishna here said, this is all about psychodynamic theory. Sigmund Freud. How many from all of you aware about Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud, he was the greatest psychologist, and he invented the psychodynamic theory. He created this psychodynamic theory, and he also gave a neuropsychological theory, neuropsychology and psychodynamic. In the psychodynamics, we can understand our mental speculation, means our mind. We can read our mind from our behavior, but in a psychodynamic, it is totally reverse. we have to understand from human behavior what are thoughts going on in human mind. So in psychodynamic and neuropsychology, both are different from each other. So means both are related with each other. So reversible both are. And in the working senses are superior to dull matter, and the mind is higher than the senses. Listen it very carefully. This is most important. Mind is higher than the senses, and still intelligence is higher than the mind. Intelligence is higher than the mind, and the soul is higher than the intelligence. First comes soul, then our intelligence, then our mind, then our senses. From the descending order, their soul come, then ascending order, our senses, our mind, our intelligence, and our soul. If we really want to control our senses, if we are able to control our senses, then we can easily control our mind. If we regulate our senses, then we can easily control our mind. And if we control our mind, then our intelligence, our buddhi will be controlled, will be developed. And if we control our intelligence, then our soul will be purified. That's why we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is Maha Mantra. Why would we chant this mantra? Because in order to control our senses, in order to control our mind, in order to control our intelligence, and in order to control our soul, we can only move toward the spiritual life if we control our soul by our intelligence, by our mind, and by our senses. So Lord Krishna here said, and Lord Krishna further said in chapter number 6, verse number 6, Lord Krishna here said, the person who has controlled his mind, listen it very carefully, the person who has controlled his mind is greatest friend. But the person who has failed to do so, his mind is greatest enemy of that particular person. And the particular person who has controlled, who has conquered his mind, means जिसने अपने मन को जीत लिया है, the person who has controlled or conquered his mind, the super soul is already reached. That particular person is already reached towards super soul, and he has attained tranquility, param santi. That particular person will surely get a param santi, or he can easily control. We can only conquer our mind by our senses, and if we conquer our mind, then our intelligence, our buddhi will be controlled. Today I am preaching before all of you. So Lord Krishna gave me this power. Because of His grace, I am preaching before all of you, and otherwise without His grace I am not able to do so. So Lord Krishna here said, Aham buddhi dadami yogam. So people are having ego, people are having a super ego. What are the main cause behind the ego? Because of this material speculation, because of their expectation and desire, whatever they got from their heritage, from their fathers and forefathers, and whatever, if they are getting intelligence, if they are having a money, then they are having ego. If they are having a success, and they are having ego. If they are having a beauty with our body, then they are having ego. So we have to understand this all about psychology. This all about a mental speculation. We don't have to pursue. We don't have to pervade the ego, and also we don't have to be egoism and super egoism, egoistic person. So we have to understand this thing. Lord Krishna stated in chapter number 16. Lord Krishna here said. Trividam narakasya dvaranam nasanam atmanah. Means there are three gates which are leading to the destruction of our soul. Trividam narakasya dvaranam nasanam atmanah. Kama krodha tatha lobh tasmad tvayam tu tejyate. Kama krodha tatha lobh means kamna, our desire. Kama krodh, anger, and our greed. Immediately you have to renunciate, immediately you have to give up, immediately you have to abandon. We have to understand these things. Lord Krishna here said, Lord Krishna has repeated in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita how to control. If we are able to make yourself free from the desire, free from the expectation, Lord Krishna has repeated these things at many times in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, if you are not able to do anything, then do one thing. You have to make yourself free from the material desire, from your expectation. Then whether you will get a success, whether you will conquer in this battlefield, and whether you will get a defeat, then what will you feel if you don't have any kind of desire? If you will be neutral, as a neutral, if you will fight in this warfare, then what will you get? Arjuna said, I will not get anything, neither happiness nor destroy, nor grieves. Lord Krishna here stated. So Arjuna and Lord Krishna's samvada or conversations will which taught to all of us how to behave, how to control our regulation, how to control our mental speculation, mental regulation. We have to understand these things. We have to understand about this is all about psychodynamics. This is all about neuropsychology. Neuro means neuro control. If we control our senses, then our neuron will never send any kind of wrong message to our brain, and our conscious mind and unconscious brain will not act according to our senses. Because of our senses, our brain is directly messaging to, means our senses will directly, our nervous system will directly send a message to our brain, and our brain will definitely give an order to our organ to perform particular duty or perform particular act. So we have to understand these things. And Lord Krishna here said, means Trividam Narakasya Dwaram. There are three gates which are leading to hell. Our lust, anger and greed, which definitely lead all of us toward hell. So immediately, and also responsible for the, or accountable for the destruction of our soul. If we are pure soul, then our anger and our greed and our expectation, which definitely destroy to all of us. Lord Krishna here said in chapter number 2, verse number 62 and 63. Lord Krishna here said, Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa Sangasetu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamah कामात क्रोधो विंजायते क्रोधात भवति सम्मोह सम्मोहात स्मृति विभ्रम स्मृति हिंसात बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात प्रणश्यति. मीन्स फल की आशा से कामना प्रकट होती है. इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी एक्सपेक्टेशन, देन अवर डिजायर, मीन्स इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी एक्सपेक्टेशन, देन अवर डिजायर, अवर स्ट्रॉन्ग अर्जेस विल बी डेवलप्ड, एंड फ्रॉम द स्ट्रॉन्ग अर्जेस एंड फल की आशा से कामना प्रकट होती है. और कामना का स्वभाव है असंतुष्टि, और असंतुष्ट के कारण क्रोध जन्म लेता है, क्रोध के कारण मोह जन्म लेता है, मोह के कारण व्यक्ति आचार और व्यवहार का ज्ञान ही भूल जाता है, और ज्ञान के जाने से बुद्धि चली जाती है, अनुचित प्रकार के कार्य होने लगते हैं, और अंत में सोसाइटी और समाज ऐसा व्यक्ति का शत्रु बन जाता है, और ऐसा व्यक्ति का पूर्ण रूप से पतन होता है. सो लॉर्ड कृष्णा हियर सेड द मेन कॉज ऑफ योर डिक्लाइनेशन इज ओनली एंड ओनली योर डिजायर, योर एक्सपेक्टेशन. So you have to understand these things. You have to understand how to control your mind by your sensory organs. If you are able to control your mind by regulating your sensory organs, then easily you can reach to me, because many people who has reached to me by controlling their mind. And Lord Krishna here stated in verse number 58, chapter number 2. Lord Krishna here stated about the steady mind person, steady intelligent person. Lord Krishna here said, what kind of the features, what kind of person is known as a steady mind? Lord Krishna here said, दुखेषु अनुविग्ध मनः सुखेषु विगत स्पुह वित राग भय क्रोध स्थित धीर मुनि रुच्यते. Lord Krishna here said, Lord Krishna here stated, clearly stated, दुखेषु अनुविग्ध मनः सुखेषु विगत स्पुह वित राग भय क्रोध. वित राग, attachment, bhai, fear and anger. The particular person who is free from the anger, attachment and fear. Attachment means material attachment. I am having attachment with my son, my daughter, with my parents, with my forefathers, with my means material affection or material attraction. So we have to understand, we have to make ourselves free from the material attachment, anger and greed and also fear. What kind of fear we would have? We would have a fear, like to not get something, or to whatever we have acquired, we are having a fear to lose that. So we have to understand these things. We don't have to develop this kind of fear. We have to understand who we are, what kind of our relation with Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, yes, dukhesu anuvigdha mana, the particular person whose mind is not bewildered, even there is a threefold of miseries. कितना भी बड़ा दुख आ जाए, if sudden death of our relatives or sudden death of our beloved person, if something this kind of incident will be happen, then our mind will not be fluctuated. Then we are in a steady mind. Dukhesu anuvigdha mana sukhesu vigata spuha. In the happiness, that particular person is not forget his real identity and real relation with a particular Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, the particular person is not forget in his happiness, and the particular person who is treating equally in happiness and distress to each and every living entity, only that kind of person is known as a sthir buddhi wala insan, the sage of steady mind person. So we all have to be steady mind person by regulating our senses, by regulating by sensory organs. If we regulate our sensory organs, we can control our mind. I am repeating it again and again because this is directly related. And Sigmund Freud, Karl Marx, and many people who gave us this psychological theory. Karl Marx gave a communism, and he gave about social trait, and social trait is directly related with this psychology, with this kind of behavior. Our real identity is not from our body. This body is only and only constituted from our from 5 elements: earth, water, ether, fire, and there are 5 elements which are related with these all things. So we have to understand these things. Our real identity is not from our body. If our real identity from our body, then why would we have to destroy our body at the time of our death? After our death, we don't have to destroy. We have to preserve our body. In Egyptian mummies and means many people in Egypt or in many countries, actually in Europe, in Italy and many countries, they are preserving the dead body of their forefathers. In ancient time, they are preserving their body because they don't aware about these all things. Our relations, our true relation, true identity is not from our body. Our soul is there, which is directly, which is part of our super soul, and which unless our soul is conscious and our body is unconscious, unless our unconscious, our material thing means astral body, our astral body is, this is I am talking about parapsychology. So I have done a research on parapsychology. I am having a research paper, and I found that there is astral body and non-astral body. So astral body is our body, non-astral body is our soul. We have to understand. Lord Krishna stated before more than 5,000 years ago the relation between the body and soul, Kshetragya relation. We have to understand field and the dweller of the field. We have to understand these things because these all theory are only and only derived or directly related, mentioned in our shastras, mentioned in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. And actually I have done a research on Garuda Puran. There are the human behavior. There is how to mold diamonds and how to treat many disorder, like many general disorder like a fever, jaundice, and many disorder by Ayurvedic, by the easy domestic method. There are mentioned. We have to understand, we have to follow our shastras, and we have to understand this psychodynamic theory, and this is mentioned in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. We have to understand these things. Lord Krishna further in chapter number 12, the gunas, the quality of the bhakta. If we definitely be a devotee, and if we are in spiritual life, then we can easily control our mind. So by Lord Krishna here state in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then means 5 ways to obtain Lord Krishna. First, do your karma without any expectation. Niskam karma you have to do. This is the first way. Second, you have to fix your mind and intelligence upon me. Even though if you are not able to do so, then third way, you have to render your devotion, render your service unto my devotion. Even though if you are not able to do, then you have to perform your prescribed duty, and you have to surrender your all kind of fruitive results unto me. Even though if you are not able to do, then to be neutral and forget everything and perform your prescribed duty. So if you are able to perform your prescribed duty, if we all are able to perform our prescribed duty, then we can easily understand what Lord Krishna stated in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And I would request to all of you, please read Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, and preach Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, without being any kind of changed in it. And we don't have to add our perception, we don't have to add our thoughts, we don't have to add. We have to preach Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Lord Krishna stated in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as well as Lord Krishna further said, Sukh dukhe samay kritva labha lapo jaya jayo tato yodhai ujasva nevam papam mavapsasi. Means sukh dukhe samay kritva, the person, sukh dukhe samay kritva, the person who is equal in the happiness and distress. Sukh dukhe samay kritva labha labho jaya jayo. If there is a benefit and means advantages or disadvantages and auspicious and its inauspicious things is being, so the particular person is not agitated, only that kind of person will never incur any kind of sinful activities. So we have to understand these things. And I also want to add a psychoanalytical approach, which one was developed by Sigmund Freud in 1856 and in between 1856 and 1939. And he inspired the theory of psychodynamics and used the psychodynamic to the desire describe the process of the mind as a flow of psychological energy. Libido means our speech, our libido, our sound will definitely indicate, our vocal cord will definitely indicate our behavior, our thoughts will definitely indicate. Means many people who are actually I have already conducted one lecture in which I described about how to understand, how to recognize a person on the basis of facial expression and voice expression, means voice or vocal cord, how to understand the person, how to recognize a person, whether the particular person is evil or good. We have to understand on the basis of the vocal, on the basis of the facial expression. So it's all about psychological energy, libido sound, and in originally complex in the brain. Our libido sound which born in our brain. So we have to understand these things. Simply I would have to say that if we are able to control our brain, then we can easily reach to our Lord Krishna. We can easily control our soul. If we are able to control our soul, then we can easily make ourselves free from the cycle of the birth and death, and we can make ourselves free from all kind of sinful activities. Even though we don't want to perform in this particular involve in this particular activities, then we even though we are not able to make ourselves free from this particular thing, we have to control our senses, we have to regulate our senses by our sensory organs, and we have to understand these things. This is all about today's session. So if you are having any questions, any doubt, then please kindly put your questions, put your thought. Hello.
Anyone wishes to ask something or give your opinion?
Yeah, please put your opinion.
Hi.
Hello. So this is all about how to control our mind, how to regulate our senses. So if you are having any questions, any doubt, then please kindly put a comment. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.